and welcome to Add More Zest. My name's Rebecca, also known as 4Kids at 147, and it is time for a Sunday whip and waffle. Now you may notice I've been half and half over this, but my evening's getting away from me. If you watch Thursday's Whip and Waffle, hubby and I are planning on going away for a couple of days. My initial thought was that I would do Sunday's Whip and Waffle on Sunday morning after us getting back at some point on Saturday. However, upon pondering it a little bit, I've realised that is probably a bad idea. Because I have no idea what time we are getting back on Saturday. We could decide it's a glorious day to go and spend the day and come home quite late at night. And yeah, then, you know, there's the unpacking and the whole daily life that follows after that. So I decided in the end I will do Sunday's Whip and Waffle before I go away, and I will just keep ploughing through this evening trying to get everything done so that we can go away tomorrow. So because of that, I have decided to do a normal size Whip and Waffle today, which is one piece of our cover sheets. Recently on Sunday Whip and Waffles, I have been doing 2 sheets of our cover paper and catching up on comments. That will resume next week, but just so that I can try and fit everything in, because of course I always want to be as organised as possible, because then I can completely switch off when we are away. So knowing that this video is done, knowing that stuff is all lined up for the shop for Megan to deal with while we're away, and that the house is straightish, even though all the kids will still be at home, etc., is something that I feel better knowing it's all done. So for time reasons, I'm just going to do a normal Whip and Waffle, and then I can get done the other things I want to get done. This also gives me a chance, while I'm doing this Whip and Waffle, to ponder whether I want to kit up a painting to take away with me. Now if I do, I'll film it, because it doesn't take much longer than not filming it. Yeah, I'll sort of once I finish this Whip and Waffle, I'll see if I have it in me. If not, what I might do is take some of my Paint Gem minis that I currently have on the go. So I'll just take out my drawers. We are going in the car. We have booked a caravan at a caravan park in North Wales, so probably be next Thursday's Whip and Waffle, and I'll let you know how our trip went. That was another reason I was kind of wanting to do this Whip and Waffle, as we've just got back, we enjoyed this, we enjoyed that, we enjoyed the other. But yeah, having to either make sure we get back early enough on the Saturday for me to get everything done, and then film on the Sunday, or back in enough time for me to film on the Saturday. Yeah, I'm just giving us time constraints that I'd rather not give us when we're in holiday mode or time away mode, because who knows when hubby will get more time off work. So yeah, apologies, you're not getting a holiday update, even though I will be back, but I will be back into the thick of everything, Add More Zest on Monday, and it gives me the Sunday to sort of catch up on life. Yeah, and I get to ponder. I've just had a look. I had a look to see if I had any kits not my hung up 30 by 40 paintings, but if I had any small paintings in a box that I might take with me. I've currently got a Kaiser hummingbird out that I might take with me. I'm just not sure how much I'll diamond paint after having full days out. But I also like having options. I like having options even if I decide not to diamond paint. I'd rather have a diamond paint in there so that I can make that choice. And it's actually quite easy to diamond paint in a caravan because you tend to have a nice big table and I can just leave it out for the few days that we're there. I know once I took one to Cornwall with me and did the whole thing just in those little pockets of time that we were hanging around in the caravan. So yeah, we shall see. If I've got the energy, I think I might kit it up to take it with me. And if I don't do it, then I'm not going to worry about when I get it done. Because I have really been enjoying working on this. I did a nice good section of it last night with my book on. I was going to do a section of it tonight with my book on. I have a new JD Robb book. The new one is out. And I was kind of itching to just sit and diamond paint with it and think about everything else tomorrow. But my brain took over. And yeah, I came to the realisation that I will have a lot more fun while I'm away if I take this evening to not sit and listen to my book, but to prepare for it. Prepare all the other bits, and then tomorrow we can throw some clothes into a case, all the other paraphernalia that you use every evening and every morning, and just get in the car and go. So yeah, that is my plan for tonight, even though you're seeing this on Sunday, unless you remember, and then you'll probably have the up-to-date shenanigans of the way my brain works before I go away. Anyway, comments, etc. Comments, questions. So we are on Sunday WIP and Waffle comments and questions back from probably July's. I don't have specific dates on these. Like, I can get them by clicking on each individual comment. But it doesn't date it for me. It just tells me it was a month ago or it was X number of days ago. But yeah, these are comments left on WIP and Waffle videos because I do my best to read through them all, which is why I normally do longer ones when I need to catch up. But yeah, so these are left on Sunday WIP and Waffles. But Shauna, she says hello. She says she is new to the channel. Hello and welcome, Shauna. She says she can't stop watching. Bless you. She says she thinks I am absolutely precious. She says she's not trying to sound condescending. She's just southern. She said she is originally from Texas, but she now lives in Utah. And she says, thank you for such engaging videos. Ooh, sorry. Thank you for such engaging videos and the attention you pay to your subscribers. She says, please never change. She says she has made an order from my shop, and she can't wait to get it. She says, thank you again just for being you. Oh, well, thank you so much for giving my videos a go and a try and finding that they suit you and your style, and I hope you'll be around for a good long while. We like to have a natter and a catch up. I'm more up to date on my Thursday WIP and Waffle videos than I am on my Sunday ones, just because I figured it is good to have that mix of a little bit more up to date while I'm catching up. but I don't want to start making decisions on what comments to read and what comments not to read. I try to avoid that if I can. If there's been a birthday in the family or an anniversary or something, and there's a lot of happy anniversary comments and things that are primarily, of course, to me or my family, then I might skirt through some of those, because those that have left them will at least know that I've read them. But I try to even avoid that where possible. I'm using a different multi-placer for these ABs, and I actually have wax in this multi-placer because these ABs don't like putty. To be honest, they don't often like wax either at the moment. I found, especially last night when I was doing a big section of ABs, I replaced the wax about 3 times, filling up this big dome over here. I do find the pick-me-up pens, even my stubby ones, which is what I'm currently using, are definitely the easiest for picking up ABs. Other things do work, but these pick-up pens do tend to be the most consistent for the longest. Using wax in a multi-placer, I say, will work. You just might need to replace it often. Using putty, if it's well used putty, can sometimes work. I do have a pen with putty in the tip, and that worked well for quite a while, but then last night it was giving me some aggro. It kept sticking, so something must have adjusted in the putty and I must have picked up a more sticky part. So I ditched that last night, so that's why I'm back on my pick-up pen. Because I don't want to be fighting with things sticking to my ABs or my ABs not sticking to my painting, because there is a lot of ABs in this one. So I'm going back to my standard AB pen after getting some of the big chunks done with my multi-placer. Kaz, she says, hi all. She says she hopes everyone is well. She says, does anyone know why Carrot Art have stopped shipping to the UK? No, I don't. I, of course, have been in communication with them in the past. They have very kindly sent me some paintings to review, but I haven't heard from them for a good long while. And I don't have any idea, like they've not given me a heads up or anything as to why they've stopped shipping to the UK, which is a shame. The other contender for a diamond painting to take away with me was actually a Carrot Art painting, but it's a 35 by 50. And when I got it out the box, I felt like it was a bit too big to take for 3 days away. When we plan to be out for most of it. So, yeah, I thought that might have been a bit on the extreme side to think that that could potentially work. But yeah, I've got no idea why. I can only assume it is to do with them needing to pay the VAT initially. But that is purely a guess on my part. I don't know whether shipping and the tax involved in that just became not worth it for them. I guess it depends on what their sales were like to the UK in the first place. But it is a shame that we've lost another very good option. Hopefully they'll bring it back. Of course, if somebody does know, do please leave us a comment so that I can pass on the update in a future WIP and Waffle, if they know the reason why. Cat Lady, she says they are keeping the charity shops around them going. So charity shops is a bit like a thrift store, I think, that it is in other places. Goodwill Op Shop. I think that's another name in Australia. But yeah, charity shop is where you can gift your things and they raise money for charity by selling what they can. But she said she was ruthless with clothes and coats. So the cat lady is preparing to move, which is always a good time to have an extreme declutter, which I can imagine will actually be a whole lot of fun to have an extreme declutter. I know we've had a few days where we've actually sort of lost the train of it, but we have had a few weekends where we have gone through and seriously decluttered some parts of the house. It's just sort of waned off a bit, unfortunately. It's probably something we could do with picking back up again, ideally as soon as possible. But she said they also went through her husband's wardrobe and filled another 2 bags. They had a bulk collection last week, and they'll send another 2 units either to charity or offer them for free on collection on Facebook. She says she won't have a craft room when they move, so she will be reducing her yarn stash too. She said, good luck with your destashing of the loft. Yes, we did pretty much finish the loft. The girls did have a good clear out of the loft. And yeah, we had a good clear out. A lot of boxes went. Yeah, it just seems to have waned off a little bit. Life has just got a little bit too busy. It just sort of throws in that busy. And then, you know, we have a lot of weekends where different people are doing different things. And even though we might be able to squeeze in an hour, it's been quite a few weeks of go, 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 which just means when we get to stop, we all just stop dead. So it's just got left by the wayside. I'm sure it will pick up again at some point, hopefully, and we'll get a few more bits done. Mainly the airing cupboard with all the bedding. I know that's one thing that's driving the girls batty primarily, because our bedding stays under our beds, so we only have to deal with ours. But yeah, there's nothing like a move to sort of keep that momentum going, and we don't have that pressure, so our momentum just went woof. Marilyn, she says, where is this kit from? She said she loves the colours. So this one that I'm doing is from Diamond Art Studio UK. It's called On the Last Day. And it has some absolutely gorgeous, vibrant colours in it. It's a nice confetti painting. I love paintings with blocks of colour as well as confetti paintings. I actually like it when I get to sort of mix them up as well. So it'd be kind of nice to have a bit more of a solid painting after this one. But I have really, really enjoyed the work that I've got to do on this one. It has had a few blocks of colour. Primarily when I've done this big white AB void. I don't know if the aliens are walking into it or out of it. But yeah, it's got some absolutely gorgeous colours. Marilyn also asked, she says, what do you use to kit up to 200 colours? So I actually have a case from Art Dot that will hold up to 240 colours. They do actually do a bigger one. In my playlist for Walking in the Rain, you will find a kitting up video where I actually have a video showcasing the case as well, but you can actually see me use it to kit up. I tend to primarily keep the trays out of it while I am working on Walking in the Rain, just because I find it easier than zipping up the case and, you know, unzipping the case and zipping it back up after each time. But that's just my slight lazy streak kicking in. There is some things that I don't have the time for, but then sometimes I can spend so much time whittling away doing something that somebody else would consider extremely tedious and boring. But yeah, I don't have the time to re-zip up a case. Don't begin to understand my brain. I stopped years ago. But yeah, it's a case from Art Dot and it's perfect. So I've got 3 different trays for 192 colours. So they're not full. So it will take up to 240. And I have split my symbols up according to this painting in a way that works for me and for my brain. And yeah, there's only on occasion that I'm really hunting for a symbol. Otherwise, it's actually not too bad to find them. It's not as bad as you may think it is. It's not as daunting to do such a high colour painting as you may think. Once you get in the groove of it, once you've done a few sections and you've got to grips with where your symbols and your colours are, then yeah, it's actually really, really fun to do, and it's amazing. The picture is just, yeah, it's getting there. We're on the sort of home stretch of it now for it to get to the point of completion, and I love the way it's looking. And Nika, she says, hello Rebecca. She says she's sorry, but she doesn't have the funds for the Advent this year. Completely understandable. It isn't something that everybody can afford. She says maybe next time. She says love and hugs. Oh, bless you. Will you make sure that you take care of you and yours and find some other little way of treating yourself over Christmas? Don't just remember everybody else and forget yourself. Amanda, she says, hey Miss Rebecca and Zesties. She says she's having a bad mental health day. So she said, so thanks for the whip and waffle. She says it always helps. Well, look after yourself, take that little bit of downtime, relaxing time, and then shake those bones out. And yeah, I hope things have got a lot better for you. Liv, she says, hi Rebecca. She says she hopes I am well. She says the canvas is looking fab. This is when I was right down the bottom beginning of this canvas. And it's taken a while to get further, but I'm loving how the colours are popping. Peyton says they're watching this while working on their Disney mystery kits. Ooh, mysteries are good for a little change. I've got some Paint Gem mysteries kitted up now and I really enjoy doing them just for a little bit of variety. Lady Dax says she did on the last day about a year ago. She says she wasn't multi-placing then, so she was just single placing. She says the confetti was a bit trying. She says, but the finish painting looks amazing. It currently hangs on poster bars in her hallway. I can imagine the sparkle on this as well, especially because there's such a big section with some ABs in it. And the striking dark blue, the 939 that goes along with it. I can imagine it looks awesome. Blossom Chops, she says every fortnight, she says when her pension arrives, she puts money away for presents into a separate savings account. She says she works out an annual budget, she says, for everyone, for both birthdays and Christmas. And she updates it at the beginning of each year. She says a couple of years ago, she says she also started putting money aside for her Christmas goodies, which is a very good shout, so that she knows she can buy the advent calendar and not have to worry about the cost. She says it's so nice, she says, knowing that if she sees something suitable, she says the money is there to get it. She said no matter what time of year it is. Yes, I do think you should have treat money. If you can budget it in, you know, of course your budget will depend on you personally, but to have a certain amount of money that is just set aside and built up and is just there for when you see something that you want, I think you've got to have those little perks in life. And whatever that may be, that could completely vary. We're using some of our sort of combined treat money to go away for a couple of days. Luckily, we personally do prefer going away more for a short break than a long break. We could have gone abroad, but we just weren't feeling it. So yeah, we just love the fact that we can do things like that. Hubby is well and truly into a new game at the moment. It's kind of good that he's off work. Otherwise, I feel like he'd be struggling to get up for work. Some of the time he's spent on this new game recently. He's well into it. And he's been able to use the treat money that's been building up for quite a while, to be honest, to get himself a couple of little extras to make the game a little bit more fun for him. And yeah, I actually went to order a back order of a quilting magazine. Found out, just because I like the chart pattern in it, found out that it was no longer available, the back issue. However, they do an app. And I could get it on the app. And then when I went to get it on the app, it said, for I think it was £40 something, you can have all 120 back issues. So I also plan on taking my iPad with me when we're away and having a look through some of those, figuring out how to bookmark things on it so that I could hopefully find them again in the future when I actually do want to do some of the patterns. But yeah, being able to treat yourself when things like that crop up is a very, very wise thing to try and do. You know, it may mean that you can't quite get that extra takeaway coffee every week that you do, but once it mounts up and you're able to treat yourself to something a bit more, all the better. You'll enjoy it then. Kim, she said she had to go back to see what this painting was. She said she had a senior brain. I do. The amount of times I have to think before I say what the name of it is unreal. Some things just don't stick in my head like they used to. She says, boy, is this confetti central right now. Yes, I've had a couple of blocks in this middle part where it's not been that confetti, but in general, it's a lot of confetti. But as I say, it's quite a nice change. I like to mix it up. She says she loves confetti sections. She says, but she makes a career out of missing symbols, which I have done a whole lot. On this one, I must say. It's making me become a lot more tolerable of myself and missing symbols. I find my tolerance level for it and my frustration levels when I realise I've missed something are the bars set a lot higher, a lot lower. Whichever way, I'm a lot more tolerable of missing symbols. Since doing this painting, because it just happens so much. I sort of got to get over it. She says hubby tested positive, she says, for COVID today. She says she's hoping that she stays healthy. Me too. She says she has health issues that could be troublesome if she gets COVID. She said so she will commence with her Lysol spraying everything like usual. She says she loves hearing my voice. Sorry, I just picked up 3 then instead of the 2 I wanted to. So I was trying to find a 3 spot for them. And now I'm just picking them up at random. She says, thank you for sharing your talents with us. Oh, bless you. Well, I hope you managed to avoid the COVID or avoid the hubby or both, whichever it may have ended up being. Hope he is feeling a lot better and was all right fending for himself for a while he kept the lurgy to himself, because who needs that? It is quite good. COVID is a lot less, a lot milder strain than it used to be. I think it's sort of weakened over time. I'm not exactly sure of the science behind it, but I know, some people, some people do still get a bit ill with it, it's nowhere near as ill as when it first started. See, look, there's 4 symbols there that I missed. I did them earlier. I've got a bunch of drills here that are a little bit clunky, clumped together. But they are actually coming apart once I pick up one of them with my pen. They're sort of prizing apart really easily on my tray, she says as she gets a stubborn one. But when I get to a batch of all stubborn ones, then I'll put them in my little jar and shake them and break them up. But they're not doing too bad. Janita, she says, hi Rebecca. She says, this painting is beautiful. Oh, there's another one I've missed. See, just have to resign myself to the fact that it is going to happen on multiple occasions. Sometimes I try and avoid it by going for the symbols that are the darkest or that are jumping out at me the most. This time I haven't, and I'm paying for it. But hey ho. We'll fix those little mistakes in a mo. So yeah, Janita says this painting is beautiful. She said it's looking great. She said she's working on a really large one. She said a great deal of it is rolled under so that she can get to the finish line, hopefully. Yeah, I actually pulled out some pipe lagging the other day for this one. So it has officially started rolling under my easel, or into a roll tucked just under the lip of my easel. So that definitely helps me to feel as though I'm getting there. Also, of course, the fact that I have the 2 rows and a bit of cover paper. So hopefully, once we're back from our trip away, I'll be able to finish this row in one evening, if I have a nice chunk of time to do it. So I'll finish that row in one evening, and then to make me feel like I'm closer to the end, I will be doing these 2 rows together. I do actually have a row above the red one, but I like to do them in 2s up and down, so I feel like I'm filling it all up. And yeah, I think it won't take too much longer, provided I get the evenings. That's the main thing. Do I get the evenings to listen to my book and do it? Kathy, she says she has a suggested source for the little stubby pens. So that is like these ones, little stubby resin pens. She says O'Brien Custom Turning on Etsy has a choice of their pens in 4-inch or 5-inch barrel lengths. She says perhaps the 4-inch would work as a stubby pen. Let's have a quick look. My ruler is actually hung up on the wall, which is why I've not brought it down. The actual pen itself, if we ignore the tips, is actually just under 3 inches. In fact, it's a bit under 3 inches. It's probably through 2 3/4 inches, ignoring the tips. So just from pen to pen. But 4 inches still be fairly stubby. Not quite as stubby as that one, but hopefully that helps. She says they have a wide variety of turning shapes. So you can pick the one that you like. She says she hopes that helps. There we go. Love tips and tricks on places for people to find things like that. I do love my little stubby pen. I go through phases. I'm currently on my yellow phase with my yellow pen and my gold tray. Is my current phase of the moment, though it constantly changes. So this one just seems to have stuck around for the month, and yeah, it may well change as we go along. User PJ3 and then lots of letters says, hey Rebecca, really lovely having a WIP and Waffle. Oh, she says she's not having a very good time lately. Low mood and just no motivation. They've not done any diamond painting for a couple of weeks. There definitely seems to be a bit of that at the moment. I think sometimes life just gets a little bit on top of you. And especially if you're not able to stop and take a minute and take a breath. It can definitely get too much. I know when me and hubby were trying to decide where to go, it was a bit of a, do you want to go? You know, like, we don't have to go away. And it's like, we don't have to go away, but I definitely think it would be good to go away. Just need that switch off time. And it's amazing how much of a difference it makes when we get back after having taken that time. So if you can give yourself a couple of days, even if it's not leaving the house, even if you just say, right, okay, in 2 days, I am going to take 2 days off completely, and see if maybe, you know, the pleasure of taking 2 days off completely can help you motivate yourself to prepare for that, like you would if you were going away. You know, straighten up the house, make sure there's no washing needed, make sure no appointments are booked on that day, and then that's it. This is your day to do nothing. And if you can't book a day for whatever, you know, kids normally, maybe see if you can block yourself off a few hours where it's like, right, I am preparing for this and I am having time off. And if you don't do anything in that time off, fine. If you diamond paint in that time off, great. If you do another craft, great. If you don't do anything, great. Sometimes you just have to listen in to what your body needs, but sometimes you get more of a level of excitement if you allow yourself to have that doing nothing time, rather than your body making you do the do nothing time, and then you feel guilty because you feel as though you should have been doing something. Whereas if you plan in do nothing time, then it's allowed. It's a different kind of time if you plan it in. See if that'll help. But yeah, make sure you take care of yourself. Little Sue, she's actually commented on a June waffle, WIP and Waffle. She says, thank you for an amazing June waffle. She says she's watching this on the 22nd of July. So there we go. I'm up to the comments at the end of July, endish of July. She said it's the first chance she has had to just sit down and catch up on her diamond painting. Does seem like everybody has had a very, very busy time. She says between work, house viewings, and 4 weeks into the summer holiday with bored kids. It's amazing how quickly they get bored, isn't it? She said with bored kids, she said she can't wait till schools go back and she gets a bit of me time again. There's nothing worse if they're kids that need entertainment all the time. That can be hard. It's quite blessed. Mine were able to entertain themselves quite a bit, and still are, which is probably good because they're all over 20 now. But it did always help me to, in effect, enjoy the time when they were at home. Because there wasn't too many cries that I'm bored. There was a few, primarily from Catherine, but she was the youngest. She's always used to having somebody about. So if the others were busy, then, woe betide me. But yeah, she's not bad at entertaining herself now. She still does occasionally want entertainment. But it's nowhere near as bad as it used to be. Right, I'm getting rid of some of these bitty bits over here, so I feel like I can enjoy some blocks. Grey Legrand, she says, in response to Blossom Chop's comment about puzzles, she said she started a new puzzle on Friday night. She said, and silly her, thought it would be easy. She said she was so wrong. If you think it's going to be easy, it's going to be hard. She said the background and the edges are white and the image is of 78 different Lego minifigures. She said it's super cute. She said she has only just started sorting. So far, she has a pile for the edges, background, faces and torsos. She says she never does edges first. She saves them for last. I've never thought of saving them for last. But yeah, we did the Lego one of just the Lego heads. Until you've done that jigsaw puzzle, you don't quite appreciate how many different facial expressions that Lego minifigure heads have. There are so many of them. It took us what felt like an eternity. But it was nice to have gotten done. Right, I've just found some more AB. She also says, yes, she says the Milky Way was completed. She completed the Milky Way on July the 12th, she said, and on July 15th, she ordered the Amazing Spider-Man. Love it. She said that's another gorgeous piece for the wall. I do like some of the Lego art for the wall, you know. I have the Great Wave up in the conservatory, and I actually have the world map upstairs outside my bathroom, on sort of the landing, and yeah, it looks striking. She said it too will be a fun build. She said it hasn't shipped yet, just because the message online says it's a waiting stock. Well, I am sure you will enjoy that one when it turns up. I keep turning round, and the door into this craft room is glass frosted, and all I can see is Luna stood there. I think she's waiting for me to come out. Oh well, she's got a little bit yet. Not too long though. I've got 2 colours left. So this is not doing too bad for my checklist. Apologies, it's not as long as a WIP and Waffle as normal. But for my checklist, it's doing well. Be able to go and get some stuff done around the house and in the shop to prepare. Bit of late night working. But yeah, I'll be able to go away tomorrow a little bit less guilt-free. Dee says, hello everyone. She was trying not to comment to give me chance to catch up on the comments. Oh, bless you. I will get there eventually. I say, maybe in the time for December Advent event. Hopefully beforehand. We shall see how we go. She said she loves the colours of the picture I am working on. She says, but the confetti is so crazy. She said she loves the tips that I give for functioning with confetti. She says, she also says, talking about puzzles, she's just ordered a huge one with 2,000 pieces. See, the biggest ones I tend to do are 1,000 pieces. 2,000, go you. Wish me luck with that. If I kept getting into more like, you know, hobbies, like, not that I need to add any more. Luckily, the odd jigsaw that I do or the odd Lego that I do, they sort of dip in and dip out as little phases. But now with diamond painting and then quilting at the weekend, I think I have enough. But I've always wanted to do one of those huge, absolutely ginormous jigsaw ones. I'd have no idea where I'd go afterwards. I just wanted to do it purely for the fun of it. Mysterious Days, so she's commenting on the June waffle. She said, good morning, Rebecca. She said it's been a few weeks since she's last been able to watch one of these. She said, so quite a lot has happened. She says their AC is back, mostly functional, after 3 different attempts from their rental company to fix it. She says, all in all, with how much they spent getting separate parts, they should have just replaced the entire unit, as it would have been cheaper. That's why hindsight is a wonderful thing. So then the roof is failing them now with a hole in it. She says by some miracle they are sending out a roofing company without them even calling. She says it's a feat she has zero idea how it happened. She says but the lack of fans has it where she can think again without a ton of noise. She said it's so nice. It's amazing how much we put up with some stuff and then when it's fixed it's like, oh, bliss. She said in happier news, her niece is here and she is having a blast with her. She says they've already gone roller skating to the trampoline park and many stores. They found an amazing burger place and they're considering getting matching tattoos while she's here. She said she's here until the 16th of August and has even helped her with her maths. She's done with the first unit. She says she's now on to proper algebra and she's scared. She says, but once she gets her GED, she can go to driving school. Little side note, we did get an update on Facebook from Mysterious Days. She did a test on the math. Like a dummy test and she got an amazing score, so she has booked in her maths test. So sending all positive vibes because I know that's booked in I think for some point this September. Just a little side update that I remember from Facebook. So yes, she said so far it looks like she'll be sharing a car with her mum for a while since they want to get rid of their current and get something newer. She said she can't believe she's actually likely to get her GED within 2024. Business 2025 and fingers crossed she'll have her driving licence by the end of 2024 too. If not, she says that's a 2025 goal. Well, you are storming through 2024 so far. Absolutely knocking it out of the park, you are. She said her cousin's also teaching her to crochet and for a first big project she thinks she's going to make a blanket for a cat to lie on since she's taken to lying on a blanket that her niece is making for her mum. She says now there's just another expensive hobby in her repertoire. Yarn takes up a lot of room as well. She says she won't admit how many spelling attempts it took to type repertoire. She says, being a reader has given her a large vocabulary, but the spelling, pronunciation and technical definition, she says, will always be lost on her in her entirety. Love it. Absolutely love it. Spell check is your friend in that way. That's for sure. Right, that is a lovely update actually to end this WIP and Waffle on. Say, bit of a shorter one, because we're gonna, or I'm gonna nip away for a few days and be back by the time you're watching this. But yeah, I do appreciate all your support and all your comments and things. Say, we will get through them. We'll just do a bit more next time. But yeah, love the way that looks. Just imagine it going all the way up. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you all again soon.